First of all, I would like to thank you for the invitation. I'm very happy that I'm here. Yes, I'm from Transylvania. Actually, I grew up in a small city nearby Sibiu. Only a few words about Sibiu. Sibiu was the medieval capital of Transylvania. And like I said, I grew up in Cisnădia, the German name is Heltau, surrounded by Saxons. I remember very well because we had a lot of neighbors, Saxon neighbors, that unfortunately after the Romanian Revolution left, but we still have good connections with them. We are visiting each other. And yes, that's why I was very passionate in their history. But I will tell you more in my presentation. Now about ASTRA Museum. ASTRA Museum, it's I think one of the largest open-air museums from Europe. Now it has almost 140 hectares. We have 400 monuments, 6 sectors, restaurants and hotels and so on. But what is interesting is that our museum was opened in 1967 with 9 monuments back then. And now, like I said, we have 400. Each year we are reconstructing, let's say, 2 or 3 monuments, identifying others for the future. Our mission, of course, it's the cultural, historical, and contemporary heritage of the rural life in Romania. We, like the curators of the museum, we are investing very much in the communities. We believe that our mission is to keep the relevance of the and the simple way of life of the communities from all over Romania, not necessarily from Transylvania, and not necessarily of the Romanians, actually of all the communities that are living in today Romania. The collections are relevant for these communities because we have a lot of heritage in our museum, and yes, we believe that the heritage of the past are the premises for the healthy future. Our values are the humans, because without humans you cannot build anything. And it's my opinion that without only some buildings in a museum, it's nothing without people that are working with that buildings, that are having activities in the museum. And that's why we have some we started to build some functional houses, we say, where the visitors are allowed to touch the furniture, the textiles, and also we organize events inviting different communities coming from Sibiu and from other regions of the country. Like I said, the museum was open for the public in 1967 after 4 years of organization. But actually this idea of having a museum in Sibiu, it's much more older. The idea is coming from 1905 when the Museum of ASTRA Association was opened for the first time in Sibiu. You must imagine that Sibiu was back then a Saxon city. It was inhabited only by Germans, and it was like a shock for the Germans to see that the Romanians opened a new exhibition in the center of the city. And more than 40,000 people came from Transylvania to participate at the opening of this exhibition. But after the First World War, the idea, let's say, died, and only in 1967 was opened for the public. It was very difficult for the first manager of the museum to apply his idea of this new museum. Cornel Irimie was back then was the head of ethnographical department in Brukenthal Museum. Brukenthal Museum is one of the oldest museums from East Europe. It was established in 1817. And this Cornel Irimie worked in Brukenthal Museum, and he convinced the Communist Party that Romania, Sibiu and Romania needs this museum, and started to organize a museum of folk technique, bringing installations from Romania, but they were made only by Romanians. Only after the Romanian Revolution, from 1990, the optic of the museums changed, and the former leading of the museum agreed to have in ASTRA Museum also the buildings belonging to communities that live together with Romanians in Romania. As you can see, in 2019, ASTRA Museum earned a very important prize, we say, Luigi Micheletti Award for Innovative Museum. So, we have, like I said, more than 400 constructions, buildings, 200,000 cultural assets. Communities in Romania are living more than 18 ethnic minorities, and I mentioned here, of course, Hungarians, Saxons, Jews, Russians, Ukrainians, Slovaks, Czechs, Italians, and so on. So it's a very big community of communities, and we are trying to develop the heritage communities. We are very involved outside of the museum, and we activate in regions like Sibiu County or Danube Delta, in Apuseni Mountains in the center of Romania, in Bucovina, Banat, or Oltenia. What is interesting that I went a lot of times, especially in this area at the Danube Delta, and it's only a short example about how we are supporting these communities. Maybe you heard that it's a quite poor region, even if the richness of the area is incredible. But we are calling them at our museum in Sibiu. We are paying for all their expenses, and they are coming usually in the summertime, and they are helping us to reconstruct now two buildings from Mila 23. It's a small village in Danube Delta. And we were very happy to find out this year that some of the craftsmen that came in our museum to help us with these houses decided to build their own museum in the community. They are Ukrainians, I must mention, but they are also speak Romanian language, and we were very happy, and we are supporting this type of development of the communities, because of course this small museum will bring more jobs and more money for these communities from Danube Delta, where a lot of tourists are coming, especially in the summertime. And we are developing, of course, intangible cultural heritage protection program. We have a fair of Romanian folk craftsmen, started in 1983 by the former manager of the museum. Folk art galleries, artistic crafts, folk and brush brands, toy fair. It's incredible successful, this toy fair in 1st of June. A lot of families are coming with their children. And we have, you must imagine, in one weekend, maybe 50,000 people coming to the museum. It's very crowded. Universal Day of Romanian Blouse, ASTRA Multicultural, Communities in ASTRA Museum, and so on. I'm in charge with this program, ASTRA Multicultural, starting with 2019. And I can tell you that it is an incredible experience each year. It's different because we are calling in the museum more than 200 craftsmen in 1 week, more than 100 artists, folk artists, and usually we have more than 30,000 people coming in 1 weekend in the museum, especially for this ASTRA multicultural. And it's very, very interesting that they are speaking, all the communities that I mentioned are speaking the same language, and is not the Romanian language, is the language of the culture and language of the peace. It's very interesting to see how they go together, how they are, because they are also, we have a gastronomical category. They are tasting food from each other, and it's really interesting. They are changing informations and so on. Yes, I was telling you about my small town where I was born. This is a quite example of some Saxons from Bonfort family. This specific family has an incredible archive of photos that they agreed to give me for research. They have photos starting with 1890, with the year 1890, and they are ending now. But also, what is very interesting, that they have, even if most of them, like 95% of the Saxons from Heltau, are living now in Germany, they have an incredible database, archive, of the Saxons from Heltau. And we are now trying to integrate this kind of archives in our website to be more accessible for the public in the future. Yes, ASTRA multicultural. We have, like I said, Saxons. Here it's a photo of Fanfara. It's a band from Neppendorf, nearby Sibiu. And of course, we, like I said, we are very careful with the craftsmen, because even if we are putting a very much attention on the old things, we are believing that the craftsmen must teach the young generation how their original things are made. And here of course, we believe in authenticity. We don't try to change anything. We just are interested in every community culture. And here it's a photo of Roma people that came in the museum. Actually, last week we had a very interesting visit in their village with some friends coming to Sibiu to a conference, and they are very friendly and open for visitors. And yes, we have a lot of fans. It was a rumor that Prince Charles could finally become king of Romania, but this didn't happen. It's good for him because it's better in UK. And these are the Romanians from the north part, Maramuresh, and thank you for the attention.
Yes, please.
When I was visiting Romania, there was a lot of very harsh attitudes towards Roma people.
Yes.
So, could you tell a little bit more about your work, how you get community involved, and you said that they are friendly and you're hosting them, so how you have this amazing example of, coexisting?
We are trying to integrate them, actually, but without changing their culture. So we are very careful to deal with this part. And I remember when I started to work in the museum, I went with a colleague of mine, specialist on Roma culture, and I went with my car with her. And I was a little bit, I don't know how to say in English, reticent to their culture, but after I known them better, it was incredible because they are very open to the, like I said, to the visitors. They cooked for us. We said only, we are from ASTRA Museum, we want to ask you some information about your culture, and they said, no, you stay here all day long. I will have a chicken from my yard, and you must to try, and it was great. And after that, and yes, we are trying to look for new people from different communities to come in the museum. So we are not stuck in some one community. We are all the time trying to bring new persons, new craftsmen, new artists in the museum. But also, like I said, we are trying to involve to be more involved in their communities, and for that we opened another, like 2 satellites of the museum, of ASTRA Museum, in 2 small villages from Olt Valley and from Secașet. They are ethnographical regions of Sibiu County. And there are 5 regions, and we will have 1 small museum in every region, because we have a lot of activities also with especially with children in these parts of the county.
Thank you.
Can I comment? Do you have problems with different communities of Roma? Because we have many Roma people in Estonia, and one community said that those Romas are bad one, and this is a good one. You don't have any problems with different communities?
Usually it's a competition
they
between
can't be
them.
together in our festival, because those Romas is good, those bad, these are okay, and you don't have any problems?
Not so much. Usually they are in competition. They are trying to, because we talked last night, yes. They are trying to have in our events, they are trying to have better spots for selling their but that's it. It's now, yeah. There are not big conflicts.
We had 3 times Roma's festival, and they told that we wanted to go through the museum with 10 horses. I said, no, it's not possible. And the next morning, security called me and said that we have 10 horses here. The gate, what is going to do, because they can't go through the museum with horses. But trust to Roma's people, it's a little bit difficult. They are really nice people,
yeah.
but they are a little bit specific. And I understand you very well.
So I was wondering if the two museums, your museum and the Hungarian Open Air Museum, do you have any kind of cooperation?
Yes, actually I've been at the opening of the Transylvanian sector. I've been there and I congratulate my colleagues because it was great to be there. I had a friend of our museum, Levente Șerfăză, that is the president of Hungarian Association in Sibiu, that translated me the speeches, and I felt very good. We have a very good cooperation, yes.
And for a long time, there is a changing connection between the two museums. Colleagues from Romania, conservators, curators, or what else, other archive workers, they are coming to our museum to study, and we also visit back to know their museum. So it's a very correct connection.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
One more question. What kind of languages you can do education programs in Romanian language, and the other languages, what kind of?
Usually we use German because even now, maybe you know that the former president of, mayor of Sibiu, it's now the president of Romania, Klaus Iohannis. He's a Saxon from Sibiu. And we, in the city, we use a lot of German language, and we have a lot of schools in German. Mm-hmm. Yes, and English, yes, we use also English. So it's the third language, Romanian, German, and English.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.